guys, welcome to my first drive video on Audi's brand new R8 rear wheel drive performance. I'm out here in beautiful Gran Canaria. The sun is out and it's 25 degrees. I'm going to be testing the Spyder, which I have in front of me here, and the Coupe. Hopefully I'm going to get to take the Coupe out on track as well, so I can really talk about its driving dynamics at my limit. Before we continue, I'd like to politely ask you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. A massive percentage of people that watch my content aren't subscribed, and it's free to do so. If you do, make sure you hit that bell icon. Rewind to the start of 2018 and Audi launched the R8 RWS, which stands for Rear Wheel Series. It was Audi testing the water with the R8, removing the iconic Quattro all-wheel drive system. It was at a nice low price point, off the top of my head, around £110,000 for the Coupe, but they reduced the power and took away a lot of the spec or trim options and options in general. So it was a good car, but it always felt like it was lacking a bit of power and torque and interior luxury compared to the more expensive Quattro V10 Plus, which it was back then. Then in 2019, when they updated the R8 and gave it a facelift, they also changed the RWS to an RWD, rear wheel drive. Again, that car was down some 65 horsepower compared to the V10 Performance. This is Audi basically almost throwing the kitchen sink at the rear wheel drive version. It doesn't have the full fat 605 horsepower, but it does now have 570 horsepower from its 5.2 litre V10, and it has an extra 10 newton meters of torque compared to the regular rear wheel drive. The Coupe weighs in at just under 1600 kilos and this Spyder at just under 1700 kilos, so you're looking at about a 100 kilo weight penalty. In terms of performance figures, well, Audi claimed that it would do the 0 to 62 sprint in 3.7 seconds for the Coupe and 3.8 for this, 204 miles an hour for the Coupe and 203 miles an hour for this. Ignoring the spec on this particular press car because, well, it has pretty much everything. The standard rear wheel drive performance in the UK will come with a limit slip diff. It will come with Napa leather on the interior. It will come with a really nice set of matte titanium coloured 19-inch forged alloy wheels to help with that unsprung weight. And that standard rear wheel drive performance will start at £127,000 in the UK. That's almost exactly 20 grand less than the V10 Performance Quattro. So you're still saving a chunk of money. Audi, well, at least in the UK, are also going to do an edition version. So think of the edition version as almost like a Vorsprung. The extra options that come on that edition car are upgraded 20-inch bronze forged alloy wheels, fine Napa leather with diamond contrasting stitching on the inside so you can get that high quality interior feel on your rear wheel drive, carbon side blades, blacked out badges, so these badges in black just like this car, and door mirror caps, red brake calipers, and a Bang & Olufsen sound system with integrated speakers in the head restraints. And if you want the roof off any of those versions we talked about, you're going to add about an extra £9,000 or £10,000 on top of that. First thing to talk about in here is these gorgeous bucket seats. I've been fortunate to drive probably 12 or 15 R8s over the past 5 or 6 years, and none of them have been fitted with these seats. They all have come with the comfort or standard seats because those seats you can put Isofix or child seats in. These ones you can't, but if you don't need a child seat, it's a no-brainer going for these. Just sitting here now, they're really comfortable, they're really supportive. I feel like I'm sitting a little bit lower, which is really important for me, especially in the R8, because I've always struggled. So I'm hoping to feel the same in the Coupe tomorrow, if that has the buckets in it, and they look $1 million. In terms of the rest of the cabin, well, this one has everything thrown at it, as we talked about on the outside. So there's lovely carbon trim everywhere. We've got an Alcantara and leather steering wheel with a sort of bronze leather stripe at the top. And because this is now a performance model, we've got extra buttons down here, which the regular rear wheel drive doesn't come with. Most notably the performance button, which is a really quick and easy sort of button to hit. As soon as you fire it up, I always hit that button. There's a couple of little traction modes in there as well. Otherwise, yeah, the paddles, everything else in here is standard R8 affair. It is beginning to date a little bit, but I think it's one of Audi's best cabins. I love the climate controls down here, the virtual cockpit, the fact there is no other screen in the center for the passenger. In fact, over there's a nice little rear wheel drive badge, or RWD, just to remind you that you're in that, just in case you're piling into a hairpin with all the traction control switched off. But I don't think you're going to forget that in too much of a hurry. Next thing to do is take this out on this glorious road that I've just pulled off and see what it's like to drive, see what it sounds like, that glorious 5.2 litre V10, which is just behind my shoulders there. See if it's much of a compromise, because it's had the roof chopped off and obviously it weighs about 100 kilos more than the Coupe. Let's fire it up. Oh, there is no mistaking that engine for anything. It still has a soft limiter though, which is a real shame. Let's get it on the road. It really is. I mean, what a piece of tarmac. Just going to slow it down a little bit. All of these manufacturers are very clever because they take you to beautiful places like this in the middle of December, so the sun should be out, which it is, and the tarmac is usually absolutely perfect, which it is. In fact, this road reminds me very much of when I went on the RS Q8 launch exactly 2 years ago with Audi in Tenerife, which isn't a million miles away, and that road was just magical. Also, there's hardly any traffic up here. There's quite a few cyclists, he was on cue, that you need to watch out for, but otherwise it's just absolutely glorious. And that sound, even from down low, oh, it's just so nice. Oh, listen to it off the rocks. Well, that scuttle shake that I kept banging on about in my fairly recent M4 competition X-Drive convertible video, you don't get that in this R8, and that's probably because the chassis itself is just so strong. Remember, it shares, maybe not the Spyder, but it shares close to 60% of its components with their GT4 race car. I mean, you don't even have to go fast to enjoy this because of that glorious soundtrack. Feel the rear end wanting to rotate just like a rear wheel drive car, so no surprise there, but you do have plenty of weight and traction over those massive rear tyres, so you really have to antagonize it to get it skidding. Ah, does it look like I'm enjoying myself? Well, the problem is you can't replicate this in the UK, can you? So really my money, without even driving it, would would still go on the Coupe or the hardtop, but if I lived out here and if I won the lottery, I mean, it's unreal. Listen to that. Well, I'm going to turn the cameras off now and actually enjoy this road on my own, off camera. But I'll join you all tomorrow at a race circuit to try out the Coupe version and hopefully get to push it really hard out there and see what the differences are. But this, as a Spyder, I mean, as I say, soft tops aren't my thing. But if I had the money and if I lived in a place like this, wow, this would be very high up my list. Okay, now I've done a few laps in this car. Let's try and talk you around a lap. Let's talk you through what this car is like. We're directly behind Frank, so should be a pretty good pace. There's no doubting that as a track car, this rear-wheel drive performance is better than the Quattro. It has a better turn-in, more feel for the steering wheel. It just feels alive on the limit. You can pick up the throttle mid-corner, and just like the majority of rear-wheel drive cars, you can adjust the angle mid-corner, and it's still massively balanced, as you just seen then. This is undoubtedly the best R8 I've ever driven. As someone who likes driving, oh, it's just brilliant. I've never had this much fun in an R8 before, never. I was lucky to take that R8 V10 Performance around Silverstone earlier this year, and that was good, but this is just so much better. It might not be quicker around a lap, but it's just brilliant.
Change the position one more time for the last step. Well done so far.
let's enjoy this last lap in this amazing place, in this incredible car. Really is good. Really, really is good. Right, let's summarise on this cool down lap. It's a brilliant car. It's the best driver's R8 I've ever driven. It's just unreal, it really is. And I know I'm a rear wheel drive fanboy, but this is just brilliant, really, really is. Like, if I had loads of money, I would consider one of these as a track car come sports car, because it's just so connected. It's so brilliant. I love it. You can hear the engine really well. You wouldn't know that it was a car that's produced in, well, 2022 essentially. Makes a fantastic sound. The feeling is really, really good. I just can't complain. I really can't. There are a couple of negatives actually. Number one is, although these are the buckets and I'm in the coupe, so I'm sitting nice and low, lower than I would be if I was in the comfort or sports seats, I'm still not sitting low enough. As you've probably seen on camera, my head is still touching the headlining. And the gearbox, although it's very good at upshifts, when you rush a downshift, it sometimes doesn't give you the gear. Even if you know and you've worked out that it's not going to hit the red line, it just is hesitant sometimes, and that's a little bit frustrating when you're on track, especially. Not so much on the road, but on track. But as I say, the upshifts, I mean, it's so crisp and so fast. This car, well, has an Audi exclusive interior, lovely red bits everywhere. These buckets have got red trim, and it just looks and feels so good. And I know that exclusive, like individual with BMW, is expensive and not many people go for it, but if you've got this kind of money and you want to buy yourself a special R8, then seriously consider going exclusive, because to me it really makes this car feel more special again. Like I said, another level. It really has lifted it. It's sad because the R8's not going to be around for much longer. I give it another 18 months max. Who knows what's going to replace it? I'm guessing at best it's going to be a hybrid with a V6 or V8 in it. At worst it's going to be a fully electric thing. I think that's why I've enjoyed this trip so much, because being on one of the last press trips of a combustion engine Audi with a V10 in it, well, there might be one more of those happening. Who knows if Audi are going to bring out like a lightweight swan song R8. I hope they do, like the Hurricane STO or something ridiculous, strip all the weight out. But we don't know if that's going to happen. It might not. But even if it doesn't, well, this is brilliant. This is all of that R&D over all those years. They got rid of the Quattro system, and to me, it's the best R8 I've ever driven. I really, really like it. Guys, I'm going to leave it there because this video is probably already way too long, so hopefully you've enjoyed it. There is another pure driving video coming, hopefully around New Year's Eve, so keep an eye out for that one. Thanks for the support as always. As I said at the start of the video, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon for more content coming very soon. I'm going to jump out this car, have a cold drink, and head to the airport and back to the UK. I think they're having like 3 or 4 degree weather with rain today, so a stark contrast to 24 degrees out here. Anyway, cheers guys, take it easy, and I'll see you at the next video. Thank you. Thank you. That road is
insane. Awesome.
I should have just come here straight from the airport, you know? Wow.